Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video, it's really less about a recap and more about us taking a deep dive into the yen and what it might be telling us about what's going on in the markets. Now, one of the things that a lot of you might be noticing on the 1 day and even the 1 month relative performance on the yen is just how strong it's been. This has been, up until about a week ago, one of the weaker individual currency stories, giving the US dollar all sorts of company here on the weak side of the scale, but it's been en fuego for the better part now of just over a week. And what you're seeing is a lot more yen strength. Now, on the backdrop of this yen strength, whether you're looking at it through the dollar yen on the Forex side or the yen futures, the JY contract, it's actually starting to look as a potential yen buy against the dollar. Now, this is the only place that I would even remotely be interested in putting on a yen buy against a much weaker currency in the greenback. So, number one, is there an opportunity here to buy yen in a pullback? I actually don't have a problem with that. There is some validity on either selling dollar yen, which would be a short dollar, long yen position, or buying the JYU, the September Japanese yen futures contract, which would be long yen, short US dollars. It's the only contrast really that I would, again, remotely consider viable for whether or not this yen continues to strengthen. So the other question is, all right, so you have a Forex and a future setup for the yen. What is the narrative for this yen strength? It's actually a very difficult one to pinpoint the why. You know, if you take a look at commitment of traders, you've got to acknowledge that a lot of US dollar unwind, whether you look at that through a rally in the DX, quick rip higher, based on non-farm payroll, today's jolts didn't do the dollar any harm, or whether you look at that via the pullback on the Euro FX or the Euro US or EC futures. The thing to remember is there's been a little bit of a dollar unwind. Thank the non-farm payroll for that. But when you look at the way in which commitment of traders has been moving, the thing to remember about right now, what I'm seeing with the Japanese yen is, if I'm going to actually look at commitment of traders overall, and this is going back into late July, the net yen shorts really continue to rally to 3.5 year highs. And the reason for that is the Bank of Japan. The Bank of Japan is going to continue their unlimited Japanese government bond, the JGB buying. And if that's the case, they've got to keep printing yen, which means unlimited buying here means unlimited printing for the yen. So that's where, this yen strength is kind of an unusual thing that I'd rather sell yen into. So rather than dollar yen, although that could be an interesting place in case the yen continues to strengthen, how about looking for pullbacks on Euro yen and on Aussie yen? And the reason I'm going to choose these pairs, which by the way, Euro yen, you can also take advantage of on RP. So I know a lot of traders might look at futures on currencies and say, wait a minute, isn't it Forex or nothing? Well, I'd rather you look at the Forex markets for currencies, but there are some viable futures contracts for Forex. RP happens to be one of them, and this is RY happens to be one of them, and you could play the euro versus the yen via this futures contract. So whether or not you're looking at euro yen or the RY, there are interesting opportunities to buy euro, sell yen, which actually lets you do two cool things. One, can you play Aussie yen? Yes, this is going to be really only a Forex convo. The reason the Euro yen gets very interesting, it lets you do three things. One, it lets you sell US dollars. So this quick rip in the dollar, you get to sell by being long euro. The other thing you get to do is sell yen. So both these markets are kind of, US dollar's been ripping higher recently since non-farm payroll. Yen's been really strong. You get to sell both of these against arguably one of the strongest currencies we have out there in the euro. So that's where Euro Yen can actually tackle a lot of different, very interesting issues now. And that's why I'm pointing it out. And again, remember, you can trade the RY futures contract. U is the contract month right now, so you can trade the RY to take advantage of this same move. And that is today's recap. A quick look at some interesting things happening in the yen and the US dollar, and what are the ways that you can actually take advantage of them right now.